A breakwater is a wall built into the ocean before the harbor. The waves hit the wall first. By the time the water reaches the boats, the force is gone. The boats never feel the full impact because the breakwater took the hit. Tonight, God is your breakwater. The wave is real, but what reaches you is not what hit the wall. If this sound reached your heart, hit subscribe. More music like this drops every week. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. Isaiah 43, verse 2. A breakwater stands in the ocean before the harbor. The waves crash against the wall, and by the time the water reaches the boats, the force is broken and the harbor rests. And God built a breakwater between you and the storm. The wave was real, the force was massive, but the wall took the hit first, and what reached you was the test, not the worst. The breakwater doesn't stop the ocean,
The water still moves,
but the force that hits the water,
the force that hits the wall,
and the force that reaches the harbor are two completely different bursts.
when you pass through the waters,
I will be with you, and the with you is the breakwater,
the wall
between the wave and the vessel that takes the force
and it disperses.
Your wave came massive, powerful, but the breakwater caught the force, and what reached your boat was a ripple, not a crash, because the wall absorbed what the ocean rehearsed. And the breakwater
Says the harbor is calm,
not because the ocean is calm,
but because the wall
between the wave and the boat broke the force before it reached your surface. When you pass through the water,
the breakwater,
holds tonight,
the breakwater,
and the wave that hit the wall lost its force before it reached my boat in the line. The breakwater, the wave was massive, but the wall took the hit first, and what reached my boat was the ripple, not the crash.
and the shore.
The breakwater,
The ocean is not calm,
but the harbor is, because the wall between the waves
and the vessel
broke the force before.
when you pass through water.
The breakwater, and the with you is the wall that stands between the storm and my boat.
And the door,
The breakwater,
and the God
who builds walls in the ocean,
just took another wave.
and what reached me is survivable because the wall bore the core. The breakwater stood for Noah. The flood was the wave, but the ark was the wall, and what reached the eight inside was safety. While the world drowned in the save,
Breakwater,
the breakwater stood for Israel.
the Egyptian army,
Was the wave, but the Red Sea walls were the breakwater, and what reached the nation was dry ground and the brave.
the breakwater,
Stood for Daniel, the lions were the wave, but the sealed mouths were the breakwater,
and what reached the
prophet was silence, not violence in the cave. And the breakwater says every harbor in the Bible was calm because a wall took the hit first. The force was real, but the breakwater absorbed
what the wave gave.
your breakwater is standing right
The
now.
wave hits the wall,
You hear the crash, but the ripple that Wave crashes, wall absorbs, the harbor calms, the force dissolves. Not the full hit,
just the ripple,
the breakwater
makes it simple.
Oh, the breakwater!
The wave just hit the wall,
And the force shattered
against the stone,
and the ripple that reached my boat,
barely rocked the water.
because the wall took everything. Oh, the breakwater! And the God who built walls in the ocean before the storm just absorbed the force that should have capsized me. And the offering from every wave I braced for not knowing, the breakwater was between me and the full force, and the impact I felt was the remnant, not the thing. The breakwater held, and the wave broke, and the harbor is calm, and the boat floats, because the wall between the ocean and me took the sting. The breakwater, the breakwater,
The breakwater,
the breakwater.
the breakwater,
The wall took the hit. Yeah, yeah. Oh. A control room sits at the center of the operation. Screens, monitor, switches. And the operator sees everything at once, while the workers on the floor see only their station. And God operates from the control room of your life. He sees every screen, every variable, every moving piece, while you see only the station you're standing at, and the frustration. The control room says the operator sees what the floor worker can't. The timing, the connections, the sequence,
and the switches are
being flipped in an order that the floor can't see in the formation. I know the plans I have for you, and the plans are the screens in the control room. The full picture visible only to the operator who sits at the installation. Yeah. Your station feels isolated. You see one screen, but the control room sees all 12. And the operator is flipping switches in a sequence designed
for the destination.
And the control room says,
Trust the operator,
the floor sees chaos,
but the control room sees choreography.
and every switch flip is intentional and part of the creation. I know the plans I have for you. The control room operates tonight, and the operator who sees every screen is flipping switches in a sequence I can't see from the floor in the light. The control room, God sees every screen, every variable,
Every moving piece,
while I see
only one station and the view.
oh, the
Control room,
The chaos on the floor is choreography from the control room, because the operator
sees the sequence and the through.
I know the plans, the room, and the screens that show the full picture are visible to the one who sits at the center and the cube.
The control room,
And the God who operates from the center just flipped the switch I didn't see, and the sequence is unfolding and the clue. The control room operated Joseph's life. 17 screens of betrayal, slavery, prison. But the operator saw the sequence, and the last switch was Prime Minister and the panel. The control room operated Esther's life. Screens of orphanhood, pageant, secrecy. But the operator saw the timing, and the switch was for such a time as this, and the channel. The control room operated Paul's life. Screens of persecution, blindness, shipwrecks. But the operator saw the epistles and flipped every switch switch in order, and the handle. And the control room says the most chaotic lives in the Bible were the most choreographed, because the operator sees every screen, and the sequence is the candle. Your control room is active, switches flipping, screens changing, and the operator who sees the full picture is working a sequence that your single station can't dismantle. The control room says the floor sees one station, heaven sees 12 screens, and the operator working the sequence hasn't missed a single switch or a scramble. The control room, God sees every screen, every variable, every moving piece, while I see only one station and a view. Ooh, ooh, ooh. The control room, the chaos on the floor is choreography from the control room, because the operator sees the sequence and the view. 12 screens, one operator, every switch flips by the creator. The floor sees chaos, the room sees order, the control room crosses every border. The control room, the operator just flipped a switch I didn't see, and a screen changed, and the sequence is unfolding from a center I can't see, but I trust. The control room, and the God who sits at the center of every operation sees all 12 screens, while I see one, and the adjustments are just. From every chaotic station I stood at, thinking nobody was watching the screens, not knowing the control room was operating a sequence, and the trust. The control room operates, and the screens are monitored, and the switches flip in order, and the operator never sleeps, and the plan is robust. The control room, the control room, the control room. The operator sees everything.
Oh yeah. Oh, oh yeah. Oh. After a flood recedes, the silt left behind is the richest soil on earth. The Nile flooded every year, and the silt fed Egypt's crops for millennia, because the flood deposited what the drought couldn't. And God left a silt layer in your life after the flood. The water receded, but what was deposited on the ground is the richest soil you've ever stood on, and shouldn't be forgotten. The Silt Layer says the flood was not just destruction, it was delivery. And the nutrients deposited by the water exceed anything the dry season could have produced on the rotten. The earth will yield its harvest, and the silt is the yield, the deposit left by the flood that turns the barren ground into the most fertile field that was begotten. Your flood receded, the water is gone, but look at the ground. The silt left behind is darker, richer, thicker than any soil you had before the flood and the forgotten. And the Silt Layer says the flood carried nutrients, the storm delivered what the calm weather couldn't. And the soil you stand on after the flood is the most productive ground and the unbroken.
The earth will yield its harvest.
The Silt Layer deposits tonight,
And the flood that just receded left behind
the richest soil I've ever stood on in the light. The Silt Layer, the flood receded, but the
soil left behind
is richer than anything the dry season produced,
because the water carried nutrients.
the calm couldn't. The Silt Layer, storm delivered what the
Peace couldn't.
and the ground after the flood is the most fertile field I've ever owned, and
The shouldn't.
The earth yields the silt, and the deposit from the flood turns the barren into the abundant, because the water delivered what the drought wouldn't.
The silt layer.
And the God who controls floods just showed me the soil deposited by the storm, and the ground I stand on is richer than it's ever been. And the couldn't. The silt layer fed Egypt for millennia. The Nile flooded annually, and the deposit was the food supply, because the flood delivered what the irrigation couldn't match. And the power, the silt layer fed Israel after the exile. The flood of Babylon deposited skills, worship, discipline, and the soil that rebuilt the temple was richer because of the shower. The silt layer fed the early church after persecution. The flood of suffering deposited resilience, unity, courage, and the soil grew a global faith because the storm was the tower. And the silt layer says the most productive fields in history were the fields that flooded, because the storm deposits what the calm can deliver. And the flower, your silt layer, is beneath your feet right now. The flood receded, and the soil deposited is ready for the most abundant planting of your life. And the power of the silt layer says plant now. The soil is richer than it was before the flood, and the crop that grows from this deposited ground will exceed everything the dry season grew. And the hour
The flood receded, but the soil left behind
is richer than anything the dry season produced, because the water carried nutrients the calm couldn't. The silt layer,
The storm delivered what the peace couldn't.
and the ground after the flood is the most fertile field I've ever owned. And the shouldn't. Flood recedes, soil remains, the richest ground.
From the rains,
The storm delivered
what calm could not.
the silt layer
Is what I got.
is what I got. The silt layer,
The flood receded,
and the ground beneath my feet is darker, richer than any soil I've ever planted in, because the storm deposited what the dry season never could.
the silt layer.
And the God who controls floods used the water to deliver nutrients, and the soil after the storm is the most productive
Ground I've ever stood.
From every flood I cursed, not knowing the water was delivering soil. And the silt layer deposited by the storm is worth more than everything
The calm season,
produced in the wood
the silt layer.
is beneath my feet, and the planting begins, and the crop from this flood-fed soil will be the harvest of my life, and it's good.
The silt layer,
The silt layer,
the silt layer.
the flood left the richest soil. A pressure vessel is a container designed to hold internal pressure. Boilers, reactors, tanks. The walls are thick because the contents are under pressure. But the vessel was engineered to contain exactly that amount. The walls don't crack because the pressure inside matches the design specification. Tonight God is showing you that you are a pressure vessel. The pressure is real, but you were designed for it. Stay. The best song on this album is still ahead. Subscribe so you never miss one. But we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this surpassing power is from God and not from us. 2 Corinthians 4.
4 verse 7. A pressure vessel has thick walls because the contents inside are under pressure. And the vessel doesn't crack because the design specification matches the load it holds. And God designed you as a pressure vessel, thick walls, strong frame. And the pressure you carry inside is exactly the amount your design can hold before it folds. The pressure vessel says the pressure is not the problem. The vessel was engineered for it. And the walls that feel stressed are doing exactly what they were designed to do from the molds. We have this treasure in jars of clay, and the jar is the pressure vessel, the container designed to hold surpassing power under pressure. And the goals, your pressure is real, the contents are heavy, but the vessel holding them was engineered for this exact load before the first pound entered. And the coals, and the pressure vessel says the walls hold, the specification matches. And the pressure you carry is the treasure, because the vessel was designed to contain what ordinary containers can't hold in the scrolls. We have this treasure in jars of clay, the pressure vessel holds tonight. And the walls that feel stressed are doing what they were designed for, because the specification matches the load in the life. The pressure vessel, the pressure inside is real, but the walls were engineered for this exact load. And the specification matches, and the container holds. The pressure vessel, thick walls, strong frame, designed for pressure, not for emptiness. And the stress in the walls is the design working, and the scrolls. Treasure in jars, the vessel, and the surpassing power inside requires a vessel that can handle pressure, because ordinary containers can't hold what the bowl. The pressure vessel, and the God who designs for pressure built my walls thick enough for exactly this load. And the vessel holds, and the pressure doesn't fold. The pressure vessel held Moses, the pressure of 2 million people inside one man. But the walls were thick enough because God engineered the vessel before the call and the plan. The pressure vessel held David, the pressure of anointing hiding and waiting inside one shepherd. But the vessel held because the design specification matched the span. The pressure vessel held Paul, the pressure of revelation, suffering and commission inside one apostle. But the walls didn't crack because the vessel was designed for the man. And the pressure vessel says every person who carried heavy contents in the Bible was a vessel engineered for that exact pressure, because God doesn't feel what he didn't design for the plan. Your vessel is holding, the walls are thick, the frame is strong, and the pressure inside is the treasure, because ordinary containers can't carry what God placed in your hand. The pressure vessel says the stress is the specification working. The walls hold, and the vessel that carries the heaviest pressure was designed with the thickest walls in the land. The pressure vessel, the pressure inside is real, but the walls were engineered for this exact load. And the specification matches, and the container holds. Oh, the pressure vessel, thick walls, strong frame, designed for pressure, not for emptiness. And the stress in the walls is the design working, and the scrolls. Thick walls, heavy pressure, the vessel holds. The treasure's measure, designed for load, not for empty. The pressure vessel holds a plenty. Oh, the pressure vessel, the walls held, and the pressure inside didn't crack the container, because God engineered my vessel for exactly this load. And the specification was met. The pressure pressure vessel. And the God who designs for pressure built my walls before he filled the vessel. And the thickness matches the weight in the bed. From every pressure I thought would crack me, not knowing the vessel was engineered for this exact load. And the walls were designed for the threat.
The pressure vessel.
Holes in the walls stand, and the pressure is the treasure. And the container was built for what it carries, and the debt is met.
The pressure vessel.
The pressure vessel. The pressure is the treasure, designed for this pressure.
Capillary action is how water defies gravity, rising through thin tubes without a pump. The water climbs because the surface tension pulls it upward against what should pull it down. And God uses capillary action in your life. The blessing rises without a pump, defying the gravity of your circumstances, climbing through the thinnest channels into places the flood can't reach, and the crown. Capillary action says the water doesn't need force, it needs the right channel. And the thinnest tube pulls water higher than the widest pipe, because the narrow path defies the frown. He makes rivers flow in the desert, and the capillary is the river, the thin channel that pulls water uphill into the driest, most unreachable places. And the gown, your capillary channels are pulling blessing upward right now. Thin, invisible, but the water is climbing through the narrow passages and reaching places the flood couldn't drown. And the capillary action says the thinnest channel is the most powerful delivery system, because the water that defies gravity reaches higher than the water that follows it down. He makes rivers flow in the desert. The capillary pulls tonight, and the water that climbs through the thinnest channel reaches higher than any flood, because it defies gravity in the light. The capillary action, water climbing upward without a pump through the thinnest channels, because the tension pulls what gravity
Can't hold down.
The capillary action,
Thin, invisible channels.
delivering water to the driest places, and the blessing defies
The gravity
of my circumstance.
in the town.
Rivers in the desert, the capillary and the thinnest tube pulls water higher than the widest pipe, because
Narrow channels.
defy what the wide ones drown. The capillary action, and the God who sends water uphill
Just pull blessing
through the thinnest channel into the driest place in my life,
and the crown.
the capillary action pulled provision to the widow of Zarephath. The thinnest channel, one jar of oil, but the narrow tube defied the gravity of famine, and the oil climbed and the weight. The capillary action pulled courage to Gideon,
The thinnest channel.
300 men, but the narrow tube defied the gravity of the army, and the victory climbed through the fray. The capillary action pulled salvation to Rahab,
Thinnest channel.
one scarlet cord, but the narrow tube defied the gravity of destruction, and the rescue climbed through the display. And the capillary action says the most miraculous deliveries in the Bible came through the thinnest channels, because God's water defies gravity when the tube is narrow and the
that the water is climbing, and the blessing that arrives through the thinnest tube reaches higher than any flood and the survey. Where the capillary action says the narrow channel
is the design,
and the water climbing through it defies
what the gravity
of your circumstances says is impossible for today. The capillary action,
water climbing upward
without a pump
through the thinnest channels,
because the tension pulls
what gravity
can't hold down.
hold down.
The capillary action,
Invisible channels
delivering water
to the driest places,
and the blessing defies the
gravity
of my circumstance.
in the town.
Water climbs against the pull,
Thin channels,
running full gravity says down.
God says up,
God says up, the capillary action
fills my cup.
The capillary action,
The water just climbed through the thinnest channel,
to the driest place in my life, and the blessing arrived
without a bump,
because God's water defies
gravity.
the capillary action, and the God who sends water uphill just deliver through the narrowest tube, and what arrived exceeds what any flood could carry with agility. From every dry place I thought water couldn't reach, not knowing the capillary channel was pulling blessing upward through the thinnest passage with ability. The capillary action pulled the water climb, and the dry place drinks, and the thinnest channel delivered what the widest flood couldn't reach with humility. The capillary action, the capillary action, water that defies gravity.
A seismic shift is when the earth's crust moves along a fault and the landscape above permanently changes. Mountains rise, valleys form, coastlines reshape, and the ground is never the same. And God just triggered a seismic shift beneath the surface of your life. The crust moved, the plate shifted, and the landscape above is about to permanently change and reclaim. The seismic shift says the surface change is always preceded by the underground movement. The plates moved first,
And the mountain
that rises was pushed from below, not built from above. And the frame,
see, I am doing a new thing.
and the new thing is the shift, the underground movement that pushes a mountain through the surface that was flat before it came. The seismic shift is not gradual adjustment, it's permanent landscape change. And the ground on the other side of the shift doesn't look like the ground on this side. And the name, and the seismic shift says the underground movement already happened. You can't undo a plate shift, and the landscape that forms from here is permanently different. And the claim,
See, I am doing a new thing.
the seismic shift hits tonight, and the underground movement that already happened is pushing a new landscape through the surface in the light. The seismic shift, the plates moved underground, and the landscape above is permanently changing,
Because the shift can't be undone.
and the mountain rises.
The seismic shift,
Not gradual adjustment, but permanent change.
and the ground on the other side
Doesn't look like the ground on this side. And the surprises, a new thing.
the shift,
And the mountain being pushed through the surface was formed by the underground movement of God's hands. And the rises, the seismic shift, and the God who moves plates just shifted the crust beneath my life. And the landscape that forms is permanent, and it revises. The seismic shift
nations and the shake. The seismic shift hit Israel at Sinai. The mountain literally shook and the plates of law moved, and the landscape permanently changed from slaves to a holy nation. And the quake, the seismic shift, hit the world at the empty tomb. The earth literally quaked and the plates of death and life shifted, and the landscape permanently changed for humanity's sake. And the seismic shift says the most permanent landscape changes in the Bible came from one underground movement. Because when God shifts the plates, the surface has no choice but to break. Your seismic shift just happened. The plates moved and the landscape above is reshaping right now.
Mountains rising where plains were,
Valleys forming where walls stood, and the way the seismic shift says the surface is catching up to what happened underground. And the landscape that forms from this shift is the permanent version God designed before the earthquake.
the seismic shift,
The plates moved underground and the landscape above is permanently changing.
because the shift can't be undone.
And the mountain rises,
Seismic shift,
not gradual adjustment but permanent change.
and the ground on the other side
Doesn't look like the ground on this side. And the surprises,
plates move, ground change,
the
landscape rearrange.
Oh.
Mountains rise, valleys form.
the seismic shift is the new norm.
The seismic shift,
The plates move and the mountain is rising through the surface, and the landscape that forms is permanent because you can't undo what got shifted underground.
seismic shift,
And the God who moves tectonic plates just reshaped the crust of my life. And the new landscape is the most beautiful ground I've ever found. From every flat plane I stared at, thinking the surface would never change, not knowing the plates beneath were shifting and the mountain was being formed from the underground. The seismic shift happened and then the mountain rises, and the landscape is permanent, and the plates that move can't be moved back, and the new ground is holy ground.
seismic shift,
Seismic shift,
seismic shift,
oh, the landscape is
permanently new.
Every material has a load-bearing capacity. The maximum weight it can hold before it fails. And the engineer who designs the structure knows the number before the first load is placed. And God knows your load-bearing capacity, the exact weight you can carry before the structure fails. And the load on your shoulders tonight was calculated and placed. The load-bearing capacity says the weight feels heavy, but it hasn't exceeded the number. Your knees bend, your back aches, but the structure hasn't failed, because the load was designed and spaced. He will not let you be tested beyond what you can bear.
And the not beyond is the capacity.
The number the engineer set before the first pound was encased. Your structure is bending, you can feel the strain, but bending is not breaking, and the weight on your shoulders is within the specification and braced. And the load-bearing capacity, says the engineer who designed you, knew the maximum before the first try landed.
and the weight has not exceeded the number he placed. He will not let you be tested beyond
the load-bearing capacity holds tonight.
and the weight that bends my structure has not exceeded the number
The engineer set in the light.
the load-bearing capacity.
The weight is heavy,
But the number hasn't been exceeded
because the engineer
designed my structure
for this exact load.
the load-bearing capacity.
Bending is not breaking,
And the strain I feel is within the specification and the road, not beyond what I can bear.
the capacity.
And the weight on my shoulders was calculated before it was placed, and the code, the load-bearing capacity. And the God who engineers structures designed mine to hold exactly this weight, and the structure has not exceeded the episode. The load-bearing capacity held Abraham, the weight of sacrificing Isaac. Heavy, yes, but within the number, because the engineer said, stop before the break and the mark. The load-bearing capacity held Job, the heaviest weight in the Bible. But the structure bent without breaking, because the specification included everything except his life and the spark. The load-bearing capacity held Jesus,
The weight of the world
the maximum capacity
of any vessel ever designed.
and the structure held through the cross and the dark. And the load-bearing capacity says every structure that bent without breaking in the Bible proved the engineer's number, because the weight never exceeded the specification and the arc. Your structure is bending right now,
The strain is real,
but the weight is within the number.
and the engineer
Who designed you calculated the maximum before the first trial hit and the mark. The load-bearing capacity says bend but don't break.
the weight is within specification.
And the structure that holds this load proves the engineer knew the number from the start. The load-bearing capacity,
The weight is heavy,
but the number hasn't been exceeded,
because the engineer
designed my structure for this exact load. The load-bearing capacity,
bending is not breaking,
and the strain I feel is within the specification and the road.
heavyweight
Structure bend but
doesn't break.
the number defends within specification.
The engineer knew
Load-bearing capacity sees me through.
the load-bearing capacity,
The weight bent my structure but didn't break it,
because the engineer who designed
knew the maximum, and the load is within the number.
the load-bearing capacity.
And the God who calculates load specifications built my structure for exactly this weight. And the bending is not the wonder, the holding is the thunder. From every load I thought would break me, not knowing the engineer set my capacity before the first pound. And the weight has never exceeded the number.
The load-bearing capacity,
Held and the structure bends but stands, and the weight is within
specification.
and the engineer's number is my lumber. The load-bearing capacity,
The load-bearing,
capacity,
the load-bearing,
capacity. The weight is within the number. The feedback loop is when the output of a system becomes the input. The result feeds back into the process, and the cycle builds momentum with every revolution and the spin. And God created a feedback loop in your life. The praise produces peace, the peace produces faith, the faith produces praise, and the loop builds momentum and the wind. The feedback loop says each revolution builds on the last. The first cycle was weak, but the 10th is stronger, and the 100th is unstoppable, because momentum compounds within. Give thanks in all
circumstances,
and the thanks is the input that starts the loop.
thanksgiving feeds peace.
Peace feeds strength, strength feeds thanksgiving and the begin. If feedback loop has been running, you didn't notice, but each revolution builds momentum, and the cycle is now producing more output per revolution than the sin. And the feedback loop says keep the cycle going.
The momentum builds,
And the output that feeds back into the input produces a compounding effect that can't be measured with the thin. Give thanks in all
circumstances,
the feedback loop cycles tonight, and each revolution builds on the last, because the output feeds the input and the momentum compounds in the light.
the feedback loop.
Praise produces peace,
Peace,
produces faith,
faith produces praise.
and each revolution is stronger than the last, because the output feeds the input.
Feedback loop,
The cycle builds momentum, and the 100th revolution
faith produces more.
than the first, because compounding is the blueprint.
Give thanks the loop,
And the thanksgiving that starts the cycle produces a chain of feedback that builds with every revolution.
and the spirit.
Oh,
Give thanks the loop,
and the God who designed compounding systems just showed me the momentum building in my life, because each cycle feeds the merit. The feedback loop ran in David's life. Worship produced strength,
strength produces victory.
victory produced worship, and the cycle built a kingdom from a shepherd. And the sound, the feedback loop ran in Paul's prison. Praise at midnight produced an earthquake. The earthquake produced a testimony, and the loop kept going round. And the feedback loop ran in the early church. Persecution produced scattering, scattering produced evangelism,
Evangelism,
and the loop compounded around. And the feedback loop says the most powerful movements in the Bible were feedback loops, because the output fed back into the input, and the momentum built on the ground. Your feedback loop is in its strongest cycle right now. The momentum has been building, and the output from this revolution exceeds every previous one, because compounding astounds. The feedback loop says keep the input going,
thanksgiving feeds the cycle.
and the compounding effect of 100 revolutions produces what one revolution never could. By the sounds of
Feedback loop,
praise produces peace,
peace,
produces faith,
faith produces praise.
and each revolution is stronger than the last, because the output feeds the input.
Feedback loop,
Left the cycle builds momentum, and the 100th revolution
more produces more.
than the first, because compounding is the blueprint.
Praise feeds peace,
Peace feeds faith,
peace feeds praise.
the loop is safe,
Each revolution,
builds on the last,
the feedback loop,
compounds fast. The feedback loop, the cycle loop, just completed another revolution, and the momentum is stronger than it's ever been, because
each output fed back into the input.
and the compounding accelerated,
The feedback loop,
and the God who designed compounding systems just showed me the 100th revolution produces what the first revolution could never have generated. From every small act of praise I thought was insignificant, not knowing it was the input that started a feedback loop that builds momentum and is never terminated. The feedback loop cycles and the momentum builds, and the output exceeds the input, because the compounding effect of 100 revolutions can't be underestimated. The feedback loop, the feedback loop, the feedback loop. The momentum compounds. The momentum compounds.
A thermal spring flows from deep underground, where the earth's core heats the water. The surface above is cold, but the spring that bubbles up from the deep is warm year-round. The heat doesn't come from the sun, it comes from the core. Tonight, God is showing you the thermal spring in your life. The warmth you feel doesn't come from your circumstances. It comes from a depth the surface can't reach. Share this with someone who needs peaceful music today. The sound was made to be passed on. Whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow from within them. John 7, verse 38. A thermal spring bubbles up from deep underground. The surface is cold, but the water rising from the core is warm because of the heat sources below, not above, and the rock. And God placed a thermal spring in your spirit. The surface circumstances are freezing, but the warmth bubbling up from your core defies the cold around the clock. The thermal spring says the heat doesn't come from the environment. The sun can disappear, but the spring stays warm because the source is the earth's core and the lock. Rivers of living water will flow from within, and the within is the thermal spring, the warm source that bubbles up from the deepest part of you like a knock. Your surface is cold, the circumstances froze. The warmth you feel inside that doesn't make sense is the thermal spring bubbling up from the core and the stock. And the thermal spring says the warmth is from within, not from without. And the heat that defies the cold surface comes from a source the freeze can't reach or block.
Rivers of living water from within. The thermal spring flows tonight, and the warmth that bubbles up from the core defies the cold on the surface in the light. The thermal spring,
the surface is cold,
but the warmth rising from within
defies the freeze,
because the heat source is the core, not the sun.
The thermal spring,
the circumstances are frozen,
but something warm keeps bubbling up,
and the warmth doesn't match the weather,
because the source is a deep one.
Rivers from within,
the spring, and the living water that flows from my core is heated by a source the surface can't reach in the run. The thermal spring, and the God who places heat at the core just warmed what the surface froze. And the spring bubbles, and the warmth comes from the undone. The thermal spring warmed Paul in chains. The surface was prison cold, but the warmth of joy from within produced letters that still heat the church and the gaze. The thermal spring warmed Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. The surface was furnace hot, but the warmth of the fourth man from within kept the core temperature of faith at the right phase. The thermal spring warmed the woman at the well. The surface was shame cold, but the living water from within
bubbled up to eternal life and the praise. And the thermal spring says the warmth that defies circumstances in the Bible always came from within, because the core holds heat that the surface can't erase. Your thermal spring is bubbling right now. The surface is cold, but inside the warmth rises, and the piece that doesn't match your problems, the spring from the base. The thermal spring says the warmth is from the core. The surface can freeze all it wants, but the spring from within defies every cold front and the embrace.
The thermal spring,
the surface is cold,
but the warmth rising from within
defies the freeze,
because the heat source is the core, not the sun.
the thermal spring.
The circumstances are frozen,
But something warm keeps bubbling
and the
under,
warmth doesn't match the weather.
because the source is a deep one. Cold surface, warm core. The spring bubbles evermore,
Heat from within,
not from above.
not from above.
The thermal spring,
Is God's love.
the thermal spring. The surface froze, but the warmth from within keeps rising. And the heat that defies my circumstances comes from a core. The freeze can't reach the thermal spring, and the God who places heat at the core just showed me the source of the warmth I couldn't explain. And the spring flows from the deep to the beach. From every cold surface I blame for my temperature, not knowing the thermal spring inside was warming me from a source the freeze can't teach. The thermal spring bubbles, and the warmth rises, and the surface loses, because the core holds heat, and the spring from within is the breach.
The thermal spring, the thermal spring.
The warmth comes from within.
Yeah. A signal booster takes a weak signal and amplifies it. The original signal was too weak to reach the destination, but the booster increases the power and the message arrives clear. And God is the signal booster of your prayer. The prayer left your lips weak, barely a whisper, but the booster amplified it, and what arrived in heaven was a shout and the hear. The signal boost says the weakness of the original signal doesn't determine the strength of the delivery, because the booster between the sender and the receiver amplifies the clear. The Spirit intercedes for us with groans that words cannot express, and the intercession is the signal boost, the amplification of what was too weak to reach on its own and the near. Your prayer felt weak, barely words, more groaning than speaking, but the signal booster caught the weak transmission and amplified it into something heaven could hear. And the signal boost says the weakest prayers receive the strongest amplification, because the booster is designed for weak signals, not strong ones. And the Spirit intercedes with groans. The signal boost tonight,
And the weak prayer
that left my lips just arrived in heaven as a shout, because the booster amplified it in the light. The signal boost, my prayer was a whisper, but the booster amplified, and what arrived in heaven was a shout, because the Spirit
intercedes.
the signal boost, the
weakness of my signal doesn't determine the delivery, because the amplifier between me and heaven exceeds the need. The Spirit intercedes, the boost and the groan that words couldn't express was amplified into a language heaven understands, and the seeds the signal boost, and the God who amplifies weak signals just boosted my whisper into a shout, and heaven responded because the signal reached and it leads. The signal boost amplified Hannah's silent prayer. Her lips moved but no sound came,
Yet the signal reached heaven amplified.
and Samuel was the response. And the way the signal boost amplified Eve's dying request, remember me,
3 words,
but the booster amplified it into paradise today. And the display, the signal boost amplified Peter's sinking cry, Lord save me,
2 words,
but the booster amplified it into an outstretched hand and the relay. And the signal boost says the shortest, weakest prayers in the Bible receive the strongest amplification, because the booster is designed for weak signals. And this way, your weak prayer just got boosted, the whisper amplified, and what arrived in heaven is stronger than what left your lips, because the signal between sender and receiver is magnified in the play. The signal boost says the prayer doesn't need to be eloquent, it needs to be sent, and the booster handles the rest, because weak signals get the strongest amplification. And the pray, the signal boost, my prayer was a whisper but the booster amplified, and what arrived in heaven was a shout, because the Spirit
intercedes.
is the signal boost. The weakness of my signal doesn't determine the delivery, because the amplifier between me and heaven exceeds the needs. Weak signal,
Strong delivery,
the booster amplifies.
with every prayer I give free.
Whisper to shout, the groan,
2 words,
the signal boost
makes me hurt.
makes me heard. The signal boost, the whisper I sent just arrived in heaven as a shout, because the Spirit between me and the throne amplified what was too weak to travel on its own.
The signal boost,
And the God who amplifies weak signals just turned my groan into a language heaven responds to, and the answer is
on the phone.
from every weak prayer I dismissed, thinking it was too small to reach heaven, not knowing the booster was amplifying every groan into a shout at the throne. The signal boost amplified, and heaven heard, and the answer descends, because the weakest signal received the strongest boost, and I'm
Not alone.
the signal boost, the signal boost, the whisper became a shout. The settling tank is where muddy water sits still until the sediment drops to the bottom, and the water on top becomes clear. The stillness does the work that filters can't do. And God has your life in a settling tank right now. The water is muddy, the clarity is gone, but the stillness is doing what your effort can't do. And the view, the settling tank says stop stirring. Every movement you make keeps the sediment suspended, but the moment you stop, the mud drops and the water clears and it's new. Be still and know that I am God, and the stillness is the settling. The motionless moment where the mud drops and the clarity returns and the cue. Your water is muddy, decisions unclear, relationships cloudy, future uncertain. But the settling tank works by stillness, not by stirring. And the truth in the settling tank says every movement keeps the mud suspended. But the stillness you resist is the process that produces the clarity you desperately need. And the breakthrough, be still and know the settling tank clears tonight. And the mud that clouded my vision is dropping to the bottom, because I finally stopped stirring in the light. The settling tank, the water is muddy, but the stillness is dropping the sediment, and the clarity is returning, because I stopped stirring in the way. Oh, the settling tank, every movement kept the mud suspended, but the motionlessness is doing what my effort couldn't. And the clay drops and the display, be still, the settling.
And the clarity
I need comes from the stopping,
not from the striving and the praise.
the settling tank, and the God who works in stillness just said stop moving. And the mud is dropping and the water clears and the way. Oh, the settling tank cleared for Elijah. The earthquake, fire and wind were the stirring, but the still small voice was the settling, and the clarity came from the quiet and the hum. The settling tank cleared for Mary at Jesus' feet. Martha was stirring, but Mary was still. And the clarity that came from the sitting was the one thing needed, and the sun. The settling tank cleared for the disciples on the sea. The storm was the stirring, but Jesus asleep was the stillness, and peace, be still, was the settling that made the water calm. And the settling tank says the clearest moments in the Bible came from the most still people, because the mud only drops when the stirring stops. And the psalm, yep, your settling tank is working right now. You stop stirring and the mud is dropping, and the water that was impossible to see through is becoming clear from the bottom. The settling tank says hold the stillness, the sediment is almost down, and the clarity that surfaces is the direction you've been searching for. Through the calm, the settling tank, the water is muddy, but the stillness is dropping the sediment, and the clarity is returning, because I stopped stirring in the way. The settling tank, every movement kept the mud suspended, but the motionlessness is doing what my effort couldn't. And the clay drops and the display, stop stirring, let it settle. The mud drops, the water's gentle, clarity comes from being still. The settling tank is God's will. The settling tank,
The mud just hit the bottom,
and the water on top,
it's clear.
and the clarity I searched for through effort came from the stillness.
I resisted,
The settling tank
and the God who works in stillness
just cleared my vision, because I finally stopped stirring, and the sediment dropped and the clarity persisted. From every muddy season I kept stirring, thinking more effort would bring clarity, not knowing the settling tank works by stillness, and the mud drops when the motion is restricted. The settling tank cleared and the water is transparent, and the direction is visible, because the stillness did what the stirring never could, and the vision is unwritten.
restricted, the settling tank.
The settling tank.
Stop stirring,
Let it clear.
stop stirring, let it clear. The dawn patrol is the surfer who paddles out before sunrise. While the world sleeps, the patrol is already in the water. And the first wave of the day belongs to the one who showed up earliest. And God has been on dawn patrol over your life. While you slept, He was already working. And the first provision of your new day was placed before your eyes opened. And the earliest, the dawn patrol says the work begins before the worker arrives. The wave was forming in the ocean while the surfer was still driving to the beach. And the dearest, His mercies are new every morning. And the dawn patrol is the morning mercy, the provision placed before sunrise. Because the patroller works before the dawn. And the clearest, the dawn patrol has been running your entire life.
Every morning
You opened your eyes, the provision was already there. Because God paddled out before the sun and the nearest. And the dawn patrol says the wave is ready. The patroller caught it before sunrise. And the ride that comes from the first wave of the day is the smoothest. Because nobody else was in the water. And the purest, His mercies are new every morning. The dawn patrol rides tonight. And the first wave of the day was caught before sunrise. Because God was already in the water, in the light. Hey! The dawn patrol, God was already working before my eyes opened. And the first provision of today was placed before the sunrise and the dawn patrol. While I slept, He paddled out, and the wave that carries today's mercy was caught before the first light and the dawn. New mercies every morning. The patrol, and the patroller who works before sunrise has never missed a morning. And the spawn, hey, the dawn patrol, and the God who rides the first wave just handed me the provision He caught before dawn. And the morning is already won. The dawn patrol rode for Israel, manna on the ground before sunrise. The provision placed while the camp slept. Because the patroller works before the dawn and the nation. The dawn patrol rode for the disciples, a breakfast on the beach before the fishermen returned. Fish on the fire placed by Jesus before the sun hit the creation. The dawn patrol rode for Elijah, bread and water from an angel placed beside the sleeping prophet. The provision delivered before the eyes open. And the duration, and the dawn patrol says every morning provision in the Bible was placed before the receiver woke up. Because the patroller catches the first wave and the foundation. Your dawn patrol ran this morning. The provision was placed before your alarm. And the mercy that meets you today was caught before sunrise. And the sensation, the dawn patrol says the wave is yours. The patroller caught it, and the ride from this first wave carries you through the entire day. Because the morning mercy is the preparation. Dawn patrol, God was already
before my eyes open.
And the first provision of today
Was placed before the sunrise and the dawn patrol.
while I slept, he paddled out, and the wave that carries today's mercy
Was caught before the first light and the dawn.
before sunrise.
Already working, the first wave is for the seeking.
While I slept, he paddled out,
The dawn patrol,
leaves no doubt.
the dawn patrol.
I just woke up and the provision was already here, because the patroller caught the first wave before sunrise, and the mercy was placed before my eyes open.
The dawn patrol,
And the God who rides before
dawn has never missed a morning.
and the first wave of today carries a mercy that was caught while I slept, and it's golden. From every morning I woke up anxious, not knowing the dawn patrol had already placed the provision, and the wave was caught before the sun and the olden. The dawn patrol
Ran and the wave is mine,
and the mercy is new,
and the patroller
who works before sunrise,
has never failed.
and the morning is beholden.
The dawn patrol,
The dawn patrol,
the dawn patrol.
he was already working before I woke.